The Giants lose last night 4-1, or yesterday 4-1 to the Reds. And at this point, the question is, do you even want them to make the playoffs? Because that's how a lot of people feel if they sneak into the playoffs again in this, I guess, playoff purgatory, if you will, or purgatory of the in-between, and they don't like Kapler, they don't like Farhan. I think they're ahead, right? I think they're ahead of schedule based on the young talent that they have. But if you were expecting them to do anything this season, sure, I would be a little bit upset. But I just want to know who was expecting them to do anything this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's hyper negative to say I don't want them to make the playoffs right, so they can have regime change.
Yeah,
but I'm not a Kapler fan. I don't like Kapler. It's nothing personal. Nothing. It's not like he's ever done me wrong. I just think he's just not a kind of guy I would want to hang out with. Mm-hmm. I've seen him in the dugout. I went to spring training, and it's just the way he interacts with the media is just kind of, there's just this kind of fake. He just seems very phony.
Yeah.
I like Farhan because I think Farhan's really smart, and I think Farhan's rejuvenated the farm system. I mean, Patrick Bailey was a great selection. I'm looking at the Giants prospects now compared to 3 years ago, and I think they have a deeper collection of players coming up. We just saw Kyle Harrison. That was a Farhan pick. So I kind of like Farhan. And I think Gabe's competent. I just don't like Gabe. You know what I mean? I just don't. He's not.
At least
likable.
You're honest about it.
I heard you guys discussing last week, and the question Gabe. You asked was, is he overrated or underrated?
Yeah, something like that.
And personally, it's not. He is not underachieved. Mm-hmm. If anything, he possibly has overachieved based on the talent that he's had. Mm-hmm. I just don't like him. I mean, I liked Bruce Bochy. I liked Roger Craig. I liked Dusty Baker. I like these guys. I hear Gabe and the way he talks and just some of the things he's done, and it's just like, come on. I've never really heard the players be super endorsing him as some awesome guy that they love. I don't know. There's something about him that's just not a dude. He's just not a dude. Mm-hmm. So I would not be. I'm not going to root against the Giants making the playoffs to try to get him out or anything like that. I want to see him go to the playoffs. I want to see this team get some, energy. But it's, to me, I like Farhan. Don't like Gabe.
No, look, you're entitled to your opinion. I like Gabe Kapler.
What do you like about him?
Honestly, I do. I don't think. I guess the question ultimately comes down to whether you think there are a couple questions. Number one, do you think he's authentic?
No, I don't think he's authentic.
Sure, I do, personally. Number one, do you think he's authentic? And then number two, just in terms of baseball, the way he operates a baseball game.
I don't like that either. I don't like the fact that it seems like he's, it's cue cards, and it's like the game's managed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't
feel like there's any gut, any heart.
Right. Well, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say lack of heart. I just think that the decisions are made at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not in the game while the game's going on.
Yeah.
So that kind of bothers me.
No,
I question people who take a lot of notes. If you're constantly writing things down and looking at notepads and stuff, where's your instinct? You played baseball for decades. Mm-hmm. What do you need? What do you got to look at all these notes. You got to write everything down. I mean, to me, I don't remember Bruce Bochy writing that many notes. It just seemed like he had it. Either he had it down. I just also get this vibe that, like, would Gabe Kapler have stayed with Madison Bumgarner in Game 7 of the 2014 World Series?
There's no way.
No way.
But couldn't you argue that 24 things have changed a lot, even in that amount of time, though?
No, I mean, has the game of baseball changed that dramatically since 2014? You still got to go with your gut. I mean, it's like the Kevin Cash. Was it Cash, the guy who pulled Blake Snell?
That was 2020.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got Blake Snell cruising in the World Series, and he yanks him because of analytics. Mm-hmm. But then, if you looked at his numbers, the 3 hitters that were coming up for the Dodgers in that last inning were like combined 0 for 9 with like 6 strikeouts in the game. But he was looking strictly at the pitching, just certain numbers. And it's like, if you cherry pick numbers, you can, the old saying, stats lie and liars use statistics.
Yeah.
If you're going to just, I like analytics as much as anybody.
Heard that one. I've heard numbers never lie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the old saying, stats lie and liars use statistics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just like one of those things where he made a strict adherence, Cash did, to a certain analytic and ignored other analytics and then just defended it by saying, I'm going with analytics. Well, no, because analytics also tell you that the 3 hitters that were coming up in the last inning were 0 for 9 with 6 strikeouts, and you ignored those analytics and you looked only at, Snell after a 7th inning, and it doesn't take into account adrenaline or that you're having a great day. I mean, come on, if anybody who knows who's competed in anything, even if you're just a jogger, there's some days you're going to run 2 miles and you're going to run it and it's going to feel like you ran 20 feet.
Yeah.
Other days you're going to run 2 miles and it felt like you ran 10 miles.
Yeah.
And it's the same 2 miles. So what's the difference? It's like some days you're on, some days you're not. And the same thing for baseball players. Some days they're cruising. I asked Bruce Bochy, I did an interview with him after the 2012 World Series in his office, and I said, Bruce, come on, you've now won a couple World Series. What's the key to managing? And he's like, oh, shucks. He's like, you play the hot hand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it in a nutshell. You play the hot hand. So I just kind of think that sometimes when you're so caught up on all these advanced numbers and your game plan at 3:00, that you just ignore the hot hand that's staring you right in the face. Sometimes you should go in the clubhouse and make a sandwich and just see how it all works out, as opposed to trying to control every situation.
Yeah, and Mookie Betts famously said, and I can kind of speak to this as well, baseball players, hitters, obviously, they're not thinking, okay, now I'm going to get this guy because he's tired. You're thinking, this guy has had my number all day. So them bringing in a quote-unquote fresh arm and somebody that seems to be a better matchup, most hitters are not thinking, darn it, I was about to get this guy. They're excited that the guy who has K'd them or
coming out,
grounded them out all game is coming out. So I think that needs to be put, look, just like everything in life, there has to be a balance. I would say there needs to be a balance.